त्यागे नैके त्यागे नैके अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकर्निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्त विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्था संन्यास योगान्यतयः शुद्ध सत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दह्रं विपापं परमेश्वभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यसत्तस्थं तत्रापि दह्रं दहनन्तिषु यो वेदादौ स्वरप्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यत्परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकम् एवां विद्युतो मार्गिको यमग्निः तमेव मार्गमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति।
हर हर नमो पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव महाराज की जय। अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं
तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्परं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्याप्ति यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चैतन्य शाश्वतः शान्तो व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीतः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता श्री गुरवे नमः। मन्नाथ श्री जगन्नाथः मद्गुरु श्री जगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतं गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव।
You all to the classes with your respective teachers for icebreakers. So please come quietly and be seated here, and we will be beginning our program shortly.
नत्वा सद्गुरुपदारविन्दं कुर्मश्चिन्मय महिमागानं भुक्तिमुक्तिदमङ्गलरूपं गुरुं स्मराम सदा प्रसन्नं गुरुं स्मराम सदा प्रसन्नम्। तव नाम स्मरणं मम जीवनं तव नाम श्रवणं परमानन्दम्। तव रूपग्रहणं भवहरणं तव रूपग्रहणं भवहरणं तव पादसेवनं मम रक्षकम् तव पादसेवनं मम रक्षकम्। त्वं हि मनोहरणं सच्चिदानन्द त्वं हि मनोहरणं चिन्मयानन्द त्वं हि मनोहरणं सच्चिदानन्द त्वं हि मनोहरणं चिन्मयानन्द त्वं हि मनोहरणं सच्चिदानन्द त्वं हि मनोहरणं चिन्मयानन्द सच्चिदानन्द चिन्मयानन्द। तव नाम स्मरणं मम जीवनं तव नाम श्रवणं परमानन्दम् तव नाम श्रवणं परमानन्दम् तव नाम श्रवणं परमानन्दम्।
Now we'll have Suraj Patnaik with a beautiful welcome song. Please come to the stage.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव गुरु के चरण के रज के गुरु के चरण के रज के दो नैनन में बिच अंजन दिया तिमिर में भी उजियारी हुआ निरंकार पिया को देख लिया गुरु के चरण के रज के कोटि सूरज तहु छिपे घने कोटि सूरज तहु छिपे घने तीन लोक धनी धन पाए पिया सदगुरु ने जो करी कृपा सदगुरु ने जो करी कृपा मर के यारी योग योग जिया गुरु के चरण के रज के दो नैनन में पिछ अंजन दिया तिमिर में भी उजियारी हुआ निरंकार पिया को देख लिया गुरु के चरण के रज के गुरु के चरण के रज के गुरु के चरण के रज के हरि ओम
At this time, I'd like to invite Shankarji Pillai from our Chennai from Chicago to introduce our Swamins and Brahmacharis.
Hari Om. Pranam and love to all of you. Welcome to Chinmaya Mahasamadhi Aradhana camp. As all of you very well know, this camp is not our normal family camp, but this is in worshipful memories of Puja Gurudev and to celebrate his life with our love and gratitude to him. It is Gurudev's blessing. It is his blessing to all of us. And we are a blessed people to have had the opportunity to share this century contemporarily with Pujya Gurudev, and it is a very blessed privilege that we have all gotten, and it is also our Pujya Gurudev's blessed gift to all of us, all our Swamins and ordained brahmacharis, to teach us and guide us in value-based living, understanding our religion, increase our depth in spiritual principles in our life. Pujya Swami Swarupanji, we are honored and blessed to have Swamiji with us on this divine occasion. And at this moment, I am requesting Pujya Swamiji and our Swami Shandanaji to inaugurate this worshipful moment of Mahasamadhi Aradhana camp by lighting the lamp. Swamiji.
ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्।
Hari Om Swamiji, may I request you to come to the stage and be seated. And it is our privilege to introduce to all of you our Swamins and Brahmacharyans who are with us on this occasion. And when I introduce them, I am requesting them also to come and join Swamiji on the stage so that we will have a historical picture with all of you, with Swamiji, before we begin this evening. So let me begin. Our Pujya Swami Shandanaji, he has been a mentor and guide to us all these years. Swamiji is the president of CMW and also the head of Chinmaya Mission New Jersey Center. And from the very beginning that we have Gurudev, we have Swamiji also with us to guide us. Swamini Shivapriyananda, senior most disciple of Pujya Gurudev. She is the head of Chinmaya Mission, Toronto. And our own, Chicago's own, Swami Sharananaji. He has been our guide and mentor and teacher for more than 32 years. And we take the pride in mentioning to you that I don't think there is another center with so many years of support and guidance by one designated Acharya. Swami Ishwaranaji, she is the member of CMW board and the head of Chinmaya Mission, Los Angeles. I want to mention to you that our Swami Sharanananji will be in charge of our children's Palavihar program in this camp. And Swami Ishwaranaji will have the meditation session in the morning, and every afternoon we'll have satsangs with all of you based on different topics every afternoon. Swamiji is a primary support for this program of this camp. Swami Abharajadananda, we are very happy to inform you and grateful to Swami Swarupanji for designating him to Chicago. And Swamiji is currently in our Yamunotri Center, and we are beginning to get benefit by his program just continued, and we are looking forward to a great time in Chicago. And Brahmacharini Stuti Chaitanya, I don't know if she is here or not yet. Yes, please. Stuti ji from Columbus Center. And Shubhani ji is here yet? The flight got delayed, I guess. And Hari Chaitanya from Dallas. And I want to inform you that Stuti Chaitanya, Shubhani ji, and Hari Chaitanya will be taking responsibility for our CHIC program throughout the US. And that responsibility has been done by them, and that is starting already started. And Brahmachari Shavanak from Atlanta Center. And at this moment, I would like to invite Dr. Apparao Mukamla. He is the Chief Executive of Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith. Please join us here. And a pioneering devotee of Gurudev to begin Chinmaya Mission's work in the US. Please understand. And Srimati Aparna Devi, please come and join us. She is the Secretary of Chinmaya Mission West. And of course, Sri Ashok Dandekar, the Treasurer of Chinmaya Mission West. Please come and join us.
Shankarji, Dhirenji is here today too. Dhirenji.
Dhirenji and Nirmata ji, please come and join us. Dhirenji is the Acharya in our Chicago Center, Gangotri. And Nirmata ji is the Acharya in our Omkara Center in Indiana. You come and join us. Should I? Yeah. Just come.
At this time, Shankarji, are you finished?
Yes. The children will be going back.
Yes. So we'll announce how. So now at this time, before we get to the next portion of our program, we would like to have the children go to their respective classes with their designated teachers and Swami. So we will dismiss grade-wise. You will have 1 hour in the class, and after 1 hour, you will come back here and we'll have some announcements and Aarti. So we have 4 classes. The youngest grade, Kanha class, is pre-K, KG and 1, and it will be conducted with Puji Stutiji and designated Balvihar teachers. And they will be in the room right closest to this hall near the bistro. And I would request them to please stand, just the Kanha class, and then go with Stutiji.
Hari Om. Now, what we're all here for, Pujya Swamiji will begin the discourse. I request him. Hari Om.
Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Can we improve the sound a little bit? We once again gather on this very special occasion. Every year on Gurudev's Mahasamadhi Day. Why do we remember such great people, especially who have touched our lives later, even after they are not there in the physical form? Because they touch our lives in such a way that it changes for the better. And therefore, this Mahasamadhi camp, we have called it Life Changers. Because whenever we gather during Mahasamadhi camps, especially in North America or anywhere around the world, when we reminisce as to how Gurudev, his love, his work has touched our lives, and when everybody sits and shares as to what changes in our outlook, in our life, that Gurudev has brought about, whether we say directly or later on in our life. One of the life changers, personally for me also, besides the various discourses of Puja Gurudev, was when I heard Kathopanishad from Gurudev in Siddhabadi itself. And even though Gurudev would go to the depths of the scriptures in such a humorous, in such a manner that each one of us would understand, and if not even the whole, but would take with us certain life changers. And if there's a change in our vision, change in our outlook, change in our attitude, change in our knowledge, in such a way that it brings about greater happiness, more dynamic living, more acceptance in our life, and most of all, more devotion and dedication in our life. Because devotion comes only, we are all utilitarian. No? Until and unless we have benefited from something, it's of no utility to us, including God, sadly enough. Is it not? And in midst of all that, which you find sometimes as Gurudev's quotes, in midst of all that, he would point out these subtle things. And very often we do not even know how it has transformed our life. And one of the most striking things, because of which we chose this, title, Life Changers, one of the most striking things is that how Nachiketa, at the most crucial moment of his life, which could be taken as a great tragedy, how he not only changed his destiny of his family, in fact, the destiny of the entire world. As we study Kathopanishad, we shall see also how Nachiketa has made this possible for himself, for his family, for the world at large. And along with that, the important thing is that we pick up these take away subtle bits of knowledge and see how here and now we can make changes in our vision, in our understanding, in our attitude to life and the happenings of life, and how we can make those special changes in our action by which not only we become highly productive, and I will not put it in less terms, highly productive members of society, performing to our highest potential and reaching the highest goal in this life itself. Kathopanishad makes us see that it is possible very young in life, and there are still people thinking, abhi to main jawan hu. This is meant for old people. And old people, when they see people who are 90, they think they are old, even though they may be 75. It was very interesting. I was listening to this conversation of two elderly grandmothers. There are young grandmothers also in their 60s. This is our grandmothers, kind of, elderly grandmothers, not happen to be mine, thank God. Yeah. But elderly grandmothers who are sitting and talking, Arey, that particular satsang, I don't want to go, because really there are old people going there. Those old people might be 5 or 6 years older than them. Kathopanishad tells us it is never too, not late, never too early to make the changes in our life, so that life as a whole is not lived and afterwards we regret and want to make changes when we become so fixed in our ways that we cannot make any changes so easily. That is the beauty of Kathopanishad. And I'm sure that all of us, when we came to the mission or were inspired by the Bhagavad Gita or other textbooks, there's only one regret you have, because the spiritual knowledge makes you give up all regrets, but there's only one regret that remains with all of us. And some of us heard it at our teenage. Only one regret. Wish we would have known this even before. Yeah? So it's never too late, but really speaking, it is never too early to gain this knowledge. Another thing is that we are here to celebrate the Mahasamadhi of such a great Jivan Mukta. And it is so sad that when we hear people or we see them pretend, both ways. Yeah. When we hear, after many, many lifetimes we'll realize this, not in this life. When the Upanishads clearly say, Acharyavan Purusho Veda. And having got such a great master, why do we meet during these occasions to remind us what he kept on reminding us? That he did it, so can we. And all the three masters that we see behind me blessing us all of them started. Shankaracharya at the age of 8 accomplished everything that we think will take us lifetimes even to study by the age of 32. Taponji Maharaj also, little delay because he had to complete his duties. But at such a young age, our Gurudev also at what young age? And having gained this knowledge, and if they had not realized it in their life, how could they with such conviction live moment to moment, every breath, every second, with such inspiration, joy, at the risk of even their health, their life, to bring this knowledge to us? If they thought, these guys, impossible. That's not what they thought. That's what you think about yourself. Yeah? And Kathopanishad is also that beautiful Upanishad which was given to a young boy, barely of the age of 8 or 9. It's called Kumara. And what, as human beings, the moment we start thinking that I know, we are confronted by choices. Animals have got no choices. Maximum is go here or go there. Other than that, no choices. But the fact that we human beings have got choices and we are enveloped with worries, tension, anxieties, discussions, arguments, everything, because as human beings, we are also aware of the consequences of our choices. Animal, even if he makes a wrong choice or goes in the wrong direction, does it very confidently. But human beings, even if they make the right choice, they will still have a conflict because we are always concerned about the consequences. And rightly so. And because each choice that we make, and that's why sometimes we wonder also, do we have a choice? But if we did not have a choice, even the thought of choice would not come to us. And the fact that we have got a choice, whatever choices we make determines the course of our life, for the better or for the worse, or for a confusion of both. Whatever choices we make, And therefore, it's so important to know how to make the choices. Now, while we listen to all this, we must also spend some time in self-reflection as well as in discussion. In life, what choices you made that you look back and you think you could have done something better or you should have done something differently. Do it while you are here. And if you made the right choices, how did you make that right choice that today you feel happy about? And if it was a wrong choice, see, in the totality we are not talking about it, but presently to your own satisfaction, the choice that you made, wrong choice, why did you make that wrong choice? Including the person you married. Yeah, that you're so happy today that you married such a person. I know you were thinking I was saying something opposite, but that's your choice. It's your understanding, no? Was it because you just listened to your parents and whoever they told you to get married, you got married? And you're happy doing it. So was it fruitful, listening to your parents' instructions? Or you regret it? In either case, whether you chose to listen to your parents or not listen to parents, chose to choose your own partner or as guided to you by your well-wishers. In short, love marriage or arranged marriage. Earlier you had no choice. It was always arranged. Yeah? Now your children don't give you any choice because it's love. It's not love, it's whatever. Yeah, it's love. But after so many heartbreaks, then the question comes to us, Swamiji, should we find out our own life partner or should we ask our parents? Choice is there. How do we make our choices in life? And look back in life, what were those? Every choice seems to change your life, but you don't see it as a change. But what are those incidents in your life, occasions in your life, where you are faced with a choice, you made a choice in your life at that time? Was it did it make a complete change in even for you to come abroad? Leave your country and come abroad. While you're making money, you think it's a great choice. When you lose your children, then you regret the choice. But what was it that you made that choice that changed your life? Just even in just the mundane. So we have got choices, and certain choices are life-changing choices. What are those life changers? Another thing is that when we listen to the scriptures, when we listen even to the Ramayana, Mahabharata, and listen about the life of great people, what are those key moments of their life? What are their qualities that actually made you make that change in your life, even spiritually? Kathopanishad is one such Upanishad in which it points out to us so many life changers. So our life today depends on our choice, then how we choose to do our action, and the third is how we choose to react to our results of action. This is where we have a choice. Once the action is done, the result of action will come. After that, you have no choice, but you have only one choice: to accept it gracefully or to accept it remorsefully. Choice means these two are, but there's no other layers of choices. Therefore, what is it that we have chosen? What is it that we choose for our future? Then is, how do we make the choice of what or how we should do the action? And as spiritual student, how we should do that action that will lead us to greater spiritual heights. I can share with you, every moment we make choices and has brought us wherever we are today. But from today, where we take that quantum leap will depend on the choice that you make today. I remember Gurudev had come to Hong Kong at that time, and he announced about the Siddhabadi camp. That we've just inaugurated our ashram. Sandipani is starting there in Siddhabadi in Hindi. And he was conducting the first camp, and that too also after a very, very long time. Gurudev was going to be there for 2 months. I mean, what a rare opportunity. Those days we still had Gurudev with us for 11 or 12 days of Gyan Yajna. And that was only for 2 years that I came to know him. After that, it got cut to 7, later on to 5. This was a rare opportunity. At the foothills of the Himalayas, such a great master whom we all were sitting there and revering was going to speak on Viveka Chudamani. Honestly, I was very new. I didn't know what Viveka Chudamani means, but it is Vedanta. It has to be good. But more than that, to spend that time with Gurudev exclusively, I've never been to a camp. I've not even been to a school camp before that. Never been to a camp, never been to a school camp, never been to an ashram. Not even Pawai I had visited. And Gurudev announced that, why don't you all come? You can come for 10 days, you can come for 20 days, you can come for 30 days, or you can come for the full 60 days. But come. There was great roar of excitement, and everybody said, yes, Gurudev has told us, we should go. However, a but comes everywhere. Even for you to come for this camp, how much pushing is required. Yeah? Those who arrange these camps at their center, do you know how much suspense they have to go through? Even really speaking, after the pandemic, to have a Mahasamadhi camp or not have a Mahasamadhi camp, there has been so much discussions. Then saying that people will not come, And therefore, at this moment, I would, appreciate that last year Dallas took it up as a hybrid, even though numbers were not that big. After that, even this year we thought that we should do it or not do it. But many of us did not want that this continuity, which was broken because of the pandemic, should be lost. And I must congratulate in this inaugural that Chinmaya Mission Chicago came forward, and I know it was challenging. And confidently took it up. Are we not glad that we made the choice? They made the choice. Isn't it? Otherwise, we would not know the result of this. When we come here, we are delighted. Same thing. We were all following the spiritual path. We were all inspired by Gurudev. Yeah. None of you, it has not occurred sometime that, oh, I should have known it earlier. I would also go and become a brahmacharini. Yeah. And especially those who are youngsters, every chick dreams to be a brahmachari. Yeah. Till they fall in love. Then the question is, can I be spiritual after I get married? Yeah. See, all these questions come about while we were listening. Each one of us was so inspired by Gurudev's love, and he just mentioned about the camp. And he said, come. For me, Himalayas, Gurudev, yeah, and the knowledge of Vedanta. These three things. I said, I am going. Honestly, I've never traveled alone in India. I may travel around the world, but in India alone, I didn't know where this ashram was. And many people said that they would go, and as the year progressed, one by one, Indian wickets fall very quickly. Except when we are playing with one country. Otherwise, wickets just go left, right, so easily. All wickets fell down. Finally, I was alone. And I didn't know whether I'm going to go there, not go there, how I'm going to go there. Luckily, Swami Shantananji was there. He said, you just go, you go and meet this one and you will reach there, That also I did not know how to do it. I didn't know how to do the bookings of the ticket. I just landed up in Pawai Ashram thinking that I have to go to Delhi, and from there there's a 3-hour drive. Didn't know that you have to take an overnight train and then go. Today, for all of you, don't worry. Today there is a direct flight to Dharamsala, 20 minutes away from the ashram. So you can go in complete comfort. Yeah. All this we did not know. And maybe if you have to think that, my God, I have to go alone, I have to do this, nobody else is going. I'm going to an ashram, an unknown place. We don't know what ashrams are, right? And for us growing in India, Sadhu Baba means boogeyman. Yeah, at least this boogeyman I could fully trust because he was Santa Claus for us, that way. All these things run in every mind. And when everybody backed out, few others also backed, not everybody, when most adults backed out, others also backed up, others would send the youngsters, etc. But today when I look back, that if I had not made that daring choice, I would still be spiritual. That I know. But what an opportunity was lost by those people will never know, except those of us who were present there that time. Any other camp also may have attended. So there are incidents in our life where we have to make a choice. And for most people, it will make no difference. Life still continues very nicely, right? But only we know, not about whether others did or not. They made the right choices, whatever it was for them. But that life-changing choice you make, that life-changing journey or action that you do. And in life, so many incidents happen. At that moment, they may appear as tragic. how in those situations we must make our choices, how we should act in those situations, and as the consequences of those choices and actions, when future situations arise in our life, how should we deal with those situations? In Kathopanishad, the example of this young boy, he's young, but he's not intelligent. He's not knowledgeable. This young boy, how he reacts to the most tragic situations, how he acts, and what choices he makes. At the same way, some of us, especially when we gather during these camps, will have some beautiful, beautiful stories to tell that either Gurudev told in his talks or he told us personally. Amazing life changes even for himself. And I will share those also with you, and I'm sure many of you who have been with him or heard his discourses on video might recognize some life-changing story that he has mentioned. Shankaracharya's life changer. Crocodile holds his feet. He asks his mother, now can I take sannyas? It was not some gimmick. But he insisted, can I take sannyas now? So at least not this life, my next life would be a journey from here. And that moment, that mother could not say no. And she said yes, as any mother would do for the well-being of her child. It's another thing that the crocodile left him. But see, what change came in his life, that at that moment, that situation, he could have been screaming away, save me, save me, save me, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. But he made the choice that now is my opportunity. That in this life, without the permission of my mother, I could not join the sannyas ashram. Now at least can I? Maybe he departed and later on next life he did it. But the impediment was that I did not have my mother's blessing. In this life, can I take sannyas? And see that crocodile catching his leg. And I think, to tell you another very interesting, life-changing incident, which was quite humorous. Gurudev and I were in this small little lift in London in 1993. Small little lift. I was just recovering from, my attack of severe spondylitis. I could not even walk. I was just recovering, but I was managing. When I was with him, somehow or the other, the energy was great. I would manage pain, no pain, whatever it was. And we both standing, and he told everybody else, there only two people can stand in the lift. He got the wheelchair also out, and he told me, you come in. I said, no, Gurudev, I can climb the steps. He said, no, you come in. Told our old devotee or trustee, you go out, you climb. He and I are going in the lift. And then he's looking at me, up. And he was very particular he said, as a sadhu, you're not even supposed to wear clothes. Right? But when you are with the public, as a teacher, it's how you carry yourself, how you groom yourself, So he has said this in public, in the talks, and he's looking at, me, then he's looking at himself, he's looking at me, then he's looking at himself. I was getting a little bit conscious, is my dhoti too high, or is it too low, or is there a stain in it, or this is not the proper way of wearing it, all that. Number of things are running in my mind. And dare I ask him, like, why are you looking? Anyway, in the lift, even two strangers are together, you feel so conscious. And you're with Gurudev in that lift, And he's looking at his leg, looking at me. Looking at his leg, looking at me. And then he says, I think the people of England are going to come to the conclusion that Vedanta gives you leg problems. Because the old Swamis also cannot walk. The young Swami also cannot walk. Now I am thinking, if the crocodile had caught Shankaracharya's feet, he would also be having a leg problem. Okay, so be aware. Vedanta gives you and then Gurudev would laugh sometimes and say, if somebody came with some ill health, if somebody came with diabetes, Arey, why are you worried? You are as sweet as me and as Krishna. Adharam madhuram, no? See how you view that whole standpoint. Or somebody came, and must have gone through some accident or, spinal surgery or something like that. And coming, telling Gurudev why, this, that. He says, good, now you can't run too far. Once wife told, husband has got this, he said, good, he can't run too far away from you. It's how you view the life. And we both sat there laughing away that even if Vedanta gives you leg problems, it's worth it. Because Vedanta is worth it. There's another time he was seeing me limping. He could not bear, that's the compassion of the Guru. His car was behind me. I had missed being with him for lunch. I was struggling to walk. His car was behind me. He saw me. He stood at the gate for me to reach, and seeing him standing for me, I'm limping and I'm walking even faster and faster and faster, so your limp becomes even more prominent. I came up to him, I bowed out to him, because that day I've heard him in the class, but I had not been with him. So he told me, you still not? Well, I said, no, Gurudev, I'm fine. No? Then he laughs. He laughs over everything and he makes you laugh. And I know that when you are sick and somebody comes and cries for you, you feel even more miserable. And you say, please go off. At least make me laugh so that I can not enjoy my pain, but even in my pain, enjoy. First, only if I'm miserable, I'll be more. He tells me, so many bodies were available. All subjects are coming in Kathopanishads. That's why I'm telling you. So many bodies were available. And I don't know I had a choice. He said, so many bodies were available. Why did you choose this body? And then he took out the mala that they had put on him, Chandan mala, and he put on me. And I silently whispered, I would not change this body for anything in this world. Because in this body, if I have a guru like him, and because of this, he puts his Chandan mala on me. What else? Is that pain a pain? Same way you see in Kathopanishad. How you view life situation, how you make the right choice to make the right life changes. And I'll tell you also how he said what made him change the course of his life. And therefore this Mahasamadhi camp on life changers, and especially this text Kathopanishad. Now I know practically all of you sitting here, from our Swamis, Brahmacharis, and study groups, everything, you all have already heard Kathopanishad. You have not come for Kathopanishad because you've already heard, and some of you may have not heard, but most of you have heard Kathopanishad. But we will take Kathopanishad with its proper meaning. But most important is its application as life changes. Because we must go with that change within us. Otherwise it's another camp, another text, one after text we study. So may not take all the verses. Certain verses are quite understood. Other verses may be repetitive knowledge. All important, repetition is also necessary as you see in Kathopanishad. But something that will make us life, can be life changing for us. And that is what we should take this from this camp, so that we ever remain grateful to our Gurudev, who even till now, whether we know it or we don't know it, has made our life change, not only for the better, but I think practically everybody sitting here can look back and think for the best. So this Kathopanishad, many of you know the story. We will just chant the first mantra, and afterwards I will tell the story, but the life-changing choices, attitude, action, as well as our reactions that bring about those changes which are for our best. Then each one of us has to apply it to the incidents of our life. And even though it is in the past, the moment we change our attitude towards those incidents, we are free from their effects even now. And if that confidence we have, then we know that liberation from all limitations is present here and now. So the first mantra we will just chant to start the Upanishad, and then we'll go on to explain the story and what I see as life changes. You might also discover many things as life changes, right? Or any particular mantra that suddenly gives you that mind shift, to make that change. We will be just indicating some of them. Otherwise, each mantra is meant for us to reflect, and in our reflection, it guides us to greater heights in everything. When I say heights, heights of success, heights of peace, heights of happiness, heights of love, heights of spirituality. So the Upanishad begins.
Om Ushanhavai Vajashravasah Sarvavedasam Dadau Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa.
So this is a story. That's why we have the word itihasa. Yeah? So they're very popularly known in the Vedic period, and the story appears even in the Karma Kanda or the earlier sections of the Veda, that there was a person whose name was Ushan. It has got two meanings, no? Ushana means one who is desirous. And who's not desirous? We are all desirous, no? So it's our story. Yeah? And only when you have some desire are you confused about some choices. If you have no desire, there's nothing to do. So there is this person who is desirous, and he being the son of Vajashravas, he was called as Vajashravasa. So that was his name. Basically, simple thing is, he is the father of the great hero Nachiketa. Yeah? And he, desirous of heaven, he had to, in a particular yajna, pointed out in the Karma Kanda of the Veda, that at that stage of your life, means the last, or say Vanaprastha stage of your life, you have taken from the world, and this is done whether you understand or you don't understand, that you have taken from the world. Now that you are old, you have done your duties, whether the remaining part of your life or before your life ends. Anyway, you can't take anything with you, not even a penny. Graciously, you give back to the world what you have taken from the world. Now, giving back, we only think of material things such as wealth. But Vanaprastha life that is meant in our scriptures, after which you take, renouncing everything, you take sannyas, has to be the fulfillment of life, not the rejection of life. And now that he either wants to take up sannyas or it's time for him to depart, that before you depart from here, have you built a heaven for yourself on the other side, which is gained only through the merits. Now, everybody has to leave their wealth behind, but that does not give merits until unless you give your wealth and go. Again, how beautifully one of Gurudev's very ardent devotee, I don't even have a hesitation in taking his name, Mr. Ishwaran. Today we could even get initially the seed money for our university. It was him. And something again he said that touched both Guruji and me at that time. And what wisdom! He's always been a great philanthropist. He has donated to many places, and especially to the mission also. He has donated quite a lot. Then when he was just being overcome by cancer, he was old also. He made another big offering. And his wife only told us that typically I told him, you can make an offering, but she always supported him. You can make an offering, But why don't you just put it in the will? Why don't you just put it in the will? And he said, even though Gurudev may have not said it physically, he said, what have I learned from Gurudev? That while living, if I cannot give this, and I make my children give that amount, means even though it is his money, his will, if I cannot give it willingly myself, do I put my children through that torture or a doubt or put mission into that situation where you may or you may not get the donation? I want to do it while I am living, because if something I can't do now, I expect my children to part with that money. This is what I have learned from Gurudev, and this is what I am going to do. His wife also was very proud of him. But when he told us something like this, then you can see that anyway he has to leave it behind. Whether his children have it or whether it goes for some donation. People who lock in Swiss banks, their children also don't know it. Yeah? Swiss banks or any bank, their children also don't do it. Now when they die off, they've left back so much. Maybe after another century they'll use it to make their roads. But that is not that person's action that goes as a merit with them. And therefore desirous of heaven, means a better world, even after death. Don't say there is no heaven or hell. Kathopanishad clearly will say, what is here is there, what is there is here. So those who say hell and heaven is here only, they are also right. Yeah? Those who are saying hell and heaven is after you die, they are also right. Yeah? You can make your life into a hell here or a heaven here. You can make your life a hell there or a heaven there, because it is mind who is the experiencer, it's the ego who is the doer, and therefore the results of action will come. All this has been taught in the scriptures before, and that's why this ritual. And father alone, who is such a noble man, is your first teacher at home. So son Nachiketa, for him his father is his guru also. And he is doing this great grand ritual in which he is supposed to give everything away. So that when he goes to heaven, he goes with so much merits. And not just for merits, but he goes with so much merits. And it is our duty, it's not a question of anything, it is our duty to give back to the world what we have received from the world, so that we are going to go empty-handed, but we don't take any mental baggage with us. He is doing it, but the story continues, and many of you know the story, that the young boy Nachiketa observes. He has learned from his own father. He knows what this ritual means. He will say, Daddy, no, you're not going to renounce everything. Daddy, you're not going, you're not taking sannyas, nor are you dying. Daddy, don't give away. And what about me? You don't give that away. He's observing that his father was giving away a lot. But like they give to ashrams even today. Yeah? Spiritual books that their grandfathers have left behind, for which they have no space in the house. which they are not going to read themselves, very generous. And earlier Guruji and I would never understand why they used to insist, how come you all don't have a library in the ashram? Build one, we are very happy. Huh? So you build the library, the books we will give. But let me tell you, some of them are very precious. Please do not throw them. No? Not only books. Yeah. Many places, the toaster is generally donated. When the ashram is newly made. Today our ashrams are not got any of that. Toaster they will give, but whose wire is exposed. And when you put the toast inside, it does not pop out. Gurudev used to give this description. I have experienced it also myself. Because I had heard from him, it was a life changer. Yeah. That please, no donation in kind. Even for the pandemic, I'm saying life changers, no? Everybody wanted to give oxygen. Nobody wanted oxygen in India. India has plenty of oxygen. It just took little time. Everybody, we want to donate, we want to send, we want to do this. Are you helping someone or just giving them what you think you want to give? See, these are very subtle points. Normally the story, you just say that he was doing wrong. We all laugh that he's giving this kind of charity. But son observes, and that time cattle was part of your wealth. Beside what other wealth? But cattle was the main source of wealth. And you must give that wealth which will generate wealth. That which is just going to be, you give only that much which is going to be spent or on which you have to spend. Then he is giving away cows and the description of the cow. And people ask me, Swamiji, don't you have any car? I said, I chose to be bekar. First of all, I never know driving. Never needed a car. But when I went to Australia, there was no money there. And generous offering of car key. I don't know how to drive cycle. But when I had brahmacharis come in, right, and they said, somebody is ready to donate a car. Then I realized it's better to be bekar. Insurance over. 12-year-old car. Yeah. Tires, and the tires are there, but the rim of the tire is crooked. Because if I tell you what the description of Kathopanishad is about the cow, today we are into protecting cow. Even such cows should be looked after. The poor, priests. It's like getting rid of anything that is a burden to you. No? The description there is cows which have given their last drop of milk. In fact, they have had their last drink of water, which means by the time you take home, you have to spend on its disposal. Yes? So now they are ready to leave the car before it collapses, so that if you have to send it to a pound, you found out that you have to spend another $1,000. Yeah? So don't think that that doesn't happen. Yeah? He sees his father doing this. And not like a typical, dad, you're such a hypocrite. How you also present which is called as Shilta. On one side, it's hesitation. How do you go up and tell your father in public, Dad, you're compromising? Even how, really speaking, there are so many, really speaking, days can be just spoken on Nachiketa, because really speaking, all the character that you see in the Ramayana of Ramchandra ji comes from Nachiketa's story. He sees that what his father is compromising with the aim to go to heaven is really going to land him up into the worst condition, because when these people, they take the cows, even out of courtesy, there only they will be talking about him. The fame that he wants to be like the big person who renounced everything or gave away everything, people will be talking. He's not going to get any fame from it. Second is that he is going to be not going to heaven for such kind of charity, because the scriptures have clearly written the laws of charity. He's not going to go to heaven with that charity. And even if when he's living in this world, that name or fame for which he's probably doing this, that for whom? For whom is he saving the good cows? And for whom? And to all these people for whom it will be a burden, whom are you giving this cow? He didn't say, Dad, everybody's talking about you. Dad, what are you pretending? Dad, you're a hypocrite. Or go and loudly say in public that Andolan, yeah, for Pandit rights. How sweetly he goes up to his father, knowing, and at that age knowing, even if you say with common sense, that what his father is doing, it's not wrong, but is a compromise. It is a compromise, and whose consequences are not going to be the desired consequence. Therefore said, desirous. If you're desiring something, then make the choices and do the actions according to what you aim for, what you desire. Work accordingly, make your choices accordingly. You forget the goal and then you start doing an action without knowing what are the consequences of that action, hoping to get your desired result. If you are not clear about the goal and the means. Gurudev used to roar about this. Bhaja Govindam screams about it. Shankaracharya. The means and the goal. If you forget the goal, the means that we will adopt is wrong. And even if we follow the right sadhana, the right practice, there will be compromises in that. And that compromises are not going to give you your desired result. See, otherwise, there was some guy who was being a hypocrite and he was compromising. What is that to do with our life? Yeah, we should also not compromise, that much we think. But in how many subtle ways. It's not about charity. We have a certain goal in our mind. We know the means. If we are not clear about the goal, what means are we going to adopt? And if we choose, even say the right means, then forgetting the goal, you make compromising, hoping that you will get the goal. Normally, it should be just common sense. But how when we are desirous of something, how we forget. And here he is not an ordinary. Vajashravas is not an ordinary person. He is a teacher of Nachiketa. He is a man who probably has produced so much and now is doing this final act of even renouncing everything. Still, it escapes his intelligence. And as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, that our intelligence gets clouded by desire and by anger. Nachiketa, with his respect and love for his father, goes there, and the Shilta with which he goes and speaks to the father. He says to his father, 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 whom are you donating me? No, to whom are you donating me? Means giving in charity. Because if you have to renounce everything, it is not just wealth that you have to renounce. You have to renounce your attachment even to your children. That's why the eternal question by Draupadi, if I was a possession, then I was lost with him. And if I am not a possession, I could not be put on the game of dice. Possession is in our mind. And if that is not given, it is like this. Gurudev used to laugh and say that these ammas come and they give me a shawl, and when they give me a shawl and next somebody gives him a shawl, he sees someone who doesn't have a shawl, you give them the shawl. Next year he's come back, somebody else has given him a shawl, and that amma will say, Swamiji, I give such an expensive shawl, you are not wearing my shawl. And Gurudev would laugh and say, why should I wear your shawl? No, the shawl that I gave, but once you gave, it is not yours. But see how we remain attached to. The son, having understood the basic knowledge of action and reaction, knowing what that whole ritual is all about, what that whole means is about, what he should be offering, contributing, donating, whatever you may call it, in the yajna offering, that to whom are you going to give me away to? Very innocent, childlike way he goes and speaks to his father. This is called as Shilta. And this is what we see in Ramchandraji when he goes to his mother to announce. See, all these characters of a spiritual seeker. When he goes to announce to his mother Kaushalya, who's waiting to receive her son as the crowned prince, she is so thrilled, and he has to give her the shocking news, not only that he is not the king, or to be king, but he has to go away from her 14 years into the forest. If he went like a typical person and just said, that other woman of your husband has dumped me to the forest, he would be 100% truthful. But in that, father insulted. You may say the stepmother deserved it. But at that moment, the anguish which Kaushalya Mata was supposed to feel, that anguish that Kaushalya Mata was supposed to anyway feel, that her son, that betrayal, everything that she is going to feel, if Ramchandraji spoke like this, can you imagine that anger, that anguish that would have increased in her heart, and the choice that Ramchandraji have word, that he cannot take away her sorrow, but at least he cannot increase her sorrow. He cannot take away that sense of loss from his mother or the unfairness that has happened. But at least not to increase the anguish. And see what he says. When she says, "My son, you've been crowned prince," he says, "Pita deena mohe kanan raju." Father has given me the kingdom of the forest, not exiled me to the forest. By which, and see the attitude he takes. We listen to the Ramayana, we listen to the Bhagavad, we listen to Kathopanishad, but these are things that are life changers. You know? For ourselves and for others also. Ramchandraji says that Father has given me the kingdom of the forest, and by this my well-being is going to take place. And he's not being, just hypocritical about it. He says, this way I will get a chance to stay with the Rishi Munis and learn from them. He doesn't talk about the troubles that could be there in the forest. With that attitude, when he leaves, otherwise how torturous can that 14 years in the forest be for anyone? And therefore, with what attitude we begin our journey is so important, because if we start our journey with the wrong attitude, then what happens? That trouble that you have to anyway go through, you go through it with greater anguish. And the opportunities that can be there in those calamities, we do not see. Because in every calamity, there is also an opportunity. In every storm, there is a lightning and an electricity to be discovered. Therefore, the choice of how we meet that life situation is so important. Now, this is about Ramchandraji. Look at how Nachiketa handles it. Once, twice, thrice, he asked his father, Papa, 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 to whom are you going to give me to? No one outside would have understood what Nachiketa meant. No way his father would have been insulted in public. But asked once, twice, thrice, father got irritated, and today you all use this word, go to. And instead I've used the word, go to hell. So, to whom are you going to offer me to? He said, to death do I give you. In the Yagyashala, the father has uttered this word. Now, we know it. Parent doesn't really mean it. Casually said it. Right? But if you look at our epics, and I'm relating it with our epics, that when you say Satyameva Jayate, truth alone wins. Kunti casually made the statement, but for life she had to suffer it. More than anybody, she had to suffer it. But they kept up to their word. Suffer if you have to, but keep up to your word. Therefore, before you give a word, think. She also casually, they also said, Mom, we've got a bounty. She said, like everything, distribute between the 5 of you. She didn't look back. But she thought that they had brought bhiksha. All misunderstanding, another misunderstanding only creates all the problem. Yeah? Dashrath Maharaj gave a boon before. Here the father says, to death do I give you. And he is supposed to renounce his son. Not give away his son, but renounce his son. And the son is saying this, that for whom are you saving it? And I must say proudly, he's some of your youngsters who tell the parents, Dad, for whom are you keeping all this? Yeah. You've made us self-sufficient. Go give where you want or go enjoy your life. Isn't it? See, we have to apply it to our lives. Then it's a life changer. Proud you have to be of those sons and daughters who are not going to fight over your will. That whom you will little more or whom did you will little less. Dad, Mom, while you are living, okay, you made us self-sufficient. We don't want anything from you. We are grateful for everything that you have given. Now either you live your life or give wherever you want. Right? That should be the upbringing. Here is Nachiketa. The father needs to be proud of it. The son is saying that you are supposed to give me up also. Then for whom are you saving these cows when you are going to go also? Whether you're going to die or you're going to an ashram, you're not taking anything with you. To whom are you giving this? If you think that you're saving it for me, then even me you have to give up. I'm not yours. From today onwards, I'm not yours. How sweetly he's trying to remind his father. And the father said, to death do I give you. In the Yagyashala, the father has said. Can you imagine what Nachiketa is hit with at that moment? For him, his father's, and those days, father's word is Guru's word, it is Lord's word. Like Ramchandraji followed his father's word without question. Parshurama followed his father's word without question. Today we might say, why? Should we follow everything that our parents tell us, even if they are wrong? It's a matter of ideology. Yeah. He could have cried, Dad, did you really mean that? I'm so hurt, I'm scarred for life, Dad. Huh? You didn't really mean that, did you? And even if you meant it or did not mean it, you shouldn't have said like this. And these days you can sue them also. Yeah? What happened at that time? He was also hit. To death do I give you means you have to die. And father also angry, like you will also say, because sometimes you don't know, you went to do something good. That's why you say also, I meant to say something good only, and why did this person scold me back? We do not know at that time. And he's a 9-year-old kid. But he's a Balvihar kid. He has been trained. And I'm telling you, even now, we hear such statements from our children and we are stunned. Yeah? What statements they make. So those of you who are serving Balvihar, don't think that, you're just teaching, going. What that one thing you have taught them can be their life changer. And sometimes what they tell you can be a life changer for you. Such as Nachiketa, he's first stunned. Now can you imagine when father says in the Yagyashala, to death do I give you, means he has to die. And there's nothing more confronting than that death. For anyone, it's no greater calamity than death. Even those who say, no, I don't mind death. It's only because they are afraid of old age. Right? Old age also, people don't want to die. But we have to die one day, young or old. We have to leave and we have to go. But for a young person told that you go die, and he has to follow his father's word implicitly, this can be the most disastrous, tragic. And even if it is not literally taken, your father says, go die. How are you going to take it? My father doesn't love me, my father doesn't care me. Can you imagine the amount of emotions that must have hit that young boy? But see how self-examination, self-introspection, and this is what we have to learn. However the situation outside is tragic, however nasty it must be, how you view that situation can be a life changer. He examines himself, and it's an honest examination. Most people are afraid to examine themselves or introspect because they are afraid what they will find. But it's better, just like as you go for medical examination, the earlier you find the cause of your pain or your disease, the better it is that you will find the cure. By taking the ostrich technique of, don't want to go for that checkup, I don't know what the doctors will say, and what if I find out? If you find out, better, and mostly you may not even have that. He didn't think, oh, I'm a bad boy, oh, I've been a really bad boy, and self-condemnation. Today, all throughout this month, I've met youngsters, and their fear of introspection is this much, that when they view their life and the mistakes that they have done, what mistakes can these youngsters do at this age? Yeah. But all mental health problems are of self-condemnation. And if you knew it was wrong, then why did you do it? And now that you have done it, at least don't repeat it. There's no point sitting and condemning yourself and then saying that I can't do anything. See the attitude of Nachiketa. He examines himself. It's the most tragic situation that your father has said, get out of the house and go die. Which he has no choice but to observe. But see how he takes it. He says, amongst many, I have been the first, the best. Best means for a disciple or even a son who knows what the father wants without the father saying or the guru saying it. Second is, if the guru or the father has said it, will implicitly follow. And the third variety, even after instructed, many times will still go and do what is being told not to do. Yeah? He says, sometimes or amongst some I must be amongst the first category. Amongst some I may be in the second category, but I have never been amongst the third category. So if these words have, in this situation, come from my mouth of my father, how does he react to that situation? Choice, action, reaction. He thinks to himself, I have not done anything wrong. He doesn't ask a question to Father, why did you do this? I didn't do anything wrong. He questions himself that I have never been amongst the worst, even towards my father, towards my guru. Therefore, no harm can befall me. Not even death can harm me. Because now I can know that whatever is going to happen to me is only going to be for my best. And therefore, look at his enthusiasm. Right? What has death to achieve from me? And he ventures forth. Father, of course, is apologetic and tells his son, Beta, I didn't really mean it. Don't do that. Please, please don't punish me in this manner. You don't go. Father is anyway attached to his son. No? He said, Nahi, Daddy, now I'm going for the brahmachari course. Yeah. No, please don't go. But, I didn't mean it. But you said it. Okay, but doesn't matter. Even Dashrath Maharaj said, go for 14 hours and come back. Go for 14 minutes and come back. Time is a relative concept. He goes into quantum theory. But Ramchandra ji says, no. Same thing Nachiketa says. This life is so temporary. Yeah? Like corns we are born, like corns we perish. Seasonal are we. For this small span of life, is it worth compromising? Is it worth doing something wrong? Or even for pleasures doing something that will give you a long time of suffering? This is called as Nitya Anitya Viveka, to start with. See? And see the choice that Nachiketa has made to go and confront death as a blessing, not as a curse of his father. Because even though his father may have cursed, not meaning to curse in that way, but has cursed, he takes it as a blessing and is ready to venture forth in life. This is what, and not only he changed the life, and as we go further, see the choices that he makes, see the achievements that he has. Yeah? And therefore we are going to take this Kathopanishad with this life changers for us. Otherwise word meaning, Bhashya, you can take. This is the implication of the story. That is why a text like Upanishad would give us this story, just to point out to us that he went to Lord Death and gained this knowledge which every Upanishad gives. Why the story? Because we have to get from it life changers. Before we conclude today's session, I have a very, very pleasant privilege on this auspicious occasion of Gurudev's Mahasamadhi camp to release certain special books. Guruji has just released it in the morning, but he had told me that you have to release it, and he wanted it to be released here. Why also? Because some of the people from Chicago itself have worked on these very, very precious addition to our knowledge and our publications. And they are Puja Guruji Swami Tejamanji had given discourses on Sri Ramcharitmanas. These were originally in Hindi. They were also brought out as a book in Hindi. Of course, he has given discourses even in English. But for the first time, discourses on the entire Sri Ramcharitmanas in his imitable style and with the depth of knowledge that he can bring to Bhagavatam and Ramayana, the way today only he can do. So, these books, discourses on Sri Ramcharitmanas, are now there, and Bolo Siyavar Ramachandra ki, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki, Bolo Bhai Sab Santan ki. And this should be an edition in everyone's homes. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. This is in English, and this is in Hindi. And beautiful way it has been drawn. Of course, it's got its cute picture also that all of you love. It's so beautifully brought out. Okay, take me the English one also. And the two people who have worked on it, Rashmiji and Aruji, you have worked on it, right? Please come up on the stage. They have tirelessly worked on this. First copy that we release here. I'm sure Guruji would want it to be presented to both of you. Today weddings also have to be repeated for the family. It's a humongous work that has been achieved, and I invoke Bhagwan's grace, Gurudev's grace on both of them for having accomplished this task, which has been for many years the desire of many, and it has happened. I'm very, very thrilled, and I'm so thrilled that I'm releasing it from the place where it is done in Chicago. Yes, and this has been life-changing for them also. It's a great work. Puja Guruji had translated into Hindi Gurudev's Bhagavad Gita from English to Hindi, and according to him, that was his also life changer. So I said many life changer stories you will hear. And there are some other books to be released. We'll release it. Actually, they want me to release it today, so I'll release it anyway. You don't mind it, right? Not too many releases. Okay. This year, now since Ramayana has come, Hanumanji has to come. Don't you agree? Yes. He has to come, and he has to follow right away. This year, when we had the Hanuman Mastak Abhishek, so we were in Siddhbadi, Guruji and I, and I had spoken on Hanuman Chalisa, I had spoken on Sankat Mochan, number of camps in Siddhbadiya during Mastak Abhishek with Guruji. So he asked me, what are you doing? So I said, I have to think about it. So he said, I'm giving you the verses, you do that. Because there are 7 verses which are traditionally chanted in the invocation of Hanumanji, especially before you read the Ramayana. They're both from Valmiki Ramayana as well as from Tulsidas Ji's Ramayana. No? And suddenly, he puts those verses in front of me. He even chants it, he even writes it. So basically, I have no choice. But I must say that I always choose to do what he chooses, and I'm telling you, it was a life-changing thing for me. Because I have spoken on Hanumanji so many times, and you suddenly give me some shlokas and you say, what am I going to speak on Hanumanji on it? And most of them appears to be similar. But if Guru has told you to do something, you take it up, not as a challenge, but as an inspiration. And honestly, I know many a times he was standing outside and listening to it. Yeah. But I did manage to speak 1.5 hours on each of these one shloka, and that is being now brought to it. And I thank Delhi Mission, who within 3 months transcribed it, edited it, and brought it out as a book called Leap to Liberty, Hanuman Charitra. So as you take the Ramayana with you, take Hanumanji with you also. And also, for many years, I'm saying all this because they've told me that I have to say it. For many years, having heard as a student in the ashram, as a brahmachari, Shiv Panchakshara Stotram by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Nagendraharaya, Trilochanaya. Not only the tune was so fascinating in the way we sang Om Namah Shivaya at such a high pitch along with it, but I used to always wonder that when Adi Shankaracharya has written, it's a simple devotional hymn. If you read the literal meaning, it's a simple devotional hymn. But why has he said that Shiva is Na, Shiva is Ma, and to Na I surrender, to Ma I surrender? Many years of thinking how, why, just couldn't get an answer. There are not, for these hymns, there are obviously no commentaries available. The simple meaning is enough to develop devotion for Lord Shiva. Just when the first lockdown was over, the last course had already started. So I managed to come to Bombay. Guruji said, now you have to take classes for the brahmacharis. Yeah. Hanuman Chalisa, he won't allow me to take. This he won't allow me to take. So, yeah. He said, you take something. I said, if I don't challenge myself, and I made the choice of taking this text, which means normally I don't have the time even to research. But when you started researching, such amazing, and I must say, a lot more is there. And this has now been again brought out so quickly as Namah Shivaya Shiv Panchakshara Stotra. And basically, it is Sri Adi Shankaracharya's explanation, you may call it, commentary, you may call it, or how to meditate on each letter of Namah Shivaya. And then to add to it, as usual, we'd go designing the cover. But during Hanuman Mastak Abhishek, I said that our pahadis, our art forms are all getting lost. because they're not paid enough. Their children don't want to do it. So we made Pahadi paintings as prasad on the Hanuman Mastak Abhishek. I'm neither an artist nor do I have any this about art. But sitting with them and designing special art pieces to be given as prasad during Mastak Abhishek, and that was for Ramayana, began to recognize that how many beautiful art forms we have, and we are losing it like our Indian knowledge systems. Found in someone's home a century-old set of paintings on Lord Shiva which fitted with each of the mantras. So it comes with these folk paintings and how they meditated on Lord Shiva and brought out these paintings. So you will have, along with each verse, painting of Lord Shiva also, which is honestly a collector's item. There's a century-old paintings and they have survived so that we learn to appreciate our Indian art also. So this is the book, Namah Shivaya, Shiva Panchakshara Stotram, which is an explanation on Namah Shivaya. So, Ramji, Shivji, and Hanumanji. I have to go together. Yeah. Tulsidas ji has said, no? Binu tava kripa ram pad pankaj sapne hu bhagati na hoi Shiva Shiva. And Shiva's avatar is Hanumanji. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We'll conclude with the Aarti. So whoever are the...
Being the first day, please allow a few more minutes. Just very fulfilling to say that this is the third Mahasamadhi Aradhana camp our Chicago Center has taken responsibility to organize. For some reason, it has repeated every 6 years. 2011, 2017, now 2023. I said third. So, okay. They say I may have forgotten the fourth camp. So, I just wanted to bring someone here. I'm really short of words to express her devotion to the mission, dedication to the work, and capability to organize and coordinate. This is our Rajul Palala. She has been the coordinator for all our Mahasamadhi camp. So now I will hand over the mic to Rajul. There's some important items coming up and also some announcement for tomorrow. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Warm welcome or hot and steamy welcome to Chicago. Yesterday, everybody was in the heat zone, but it's really nice to see everybody here, and we were just a little nervous when we were planning that what's going to happen to this camp post-COVID, but it's turning out to be beautiful, and during this week, I think we'll all get to know each other a lot better. So we'd like to acknowledge some of our sponsors for the camp. We have 3 levels of sponsorship. The gold Yajman sponsors, silver Yajman, and bronze Yajman. So at this time, I would like to invite our gold sponsors, the Palli family from our Badri Center. Please come and receive a token prasad from Pujya Swamiji. Please come up.
Like you are giving and he's taking.
Next, I'd like to invite our Silver Yajman family, Mrs. Renuka Prasad Relan and family from San Jose Center. Renuka ji. Our Bronze Yajman sponsors, Dr. Premal Joshipura and family. Dr. Satish Muluk and family from Pittsburgh. And Meera Raj family from Ann Arbor. We'd also like to thank Dr. Gopal Siruvalu, who is not here today, but he'll be attending on the last day. He's also one of our sponsors. Thank you, everyone. So now, just briefly about tomorrow's schedule. Today, after we do the Aarti, then we have dinner, and there's no cultural program today, but tomorrow we have our first full day. We start at 5:15 a.m. for adult yogasana, which is in the 2 rooms here, and next to this auditorium, followed by guided meditation, and then there's a small tea break, and then our first discourse with Pujya Swami Shantananji at 7 o'clock. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. Then we have our first discourse with Pujya Swami Swarupananji at 10 o'clock. Before that, we have 30 minutes of bhajan kirtan. Then we have an afternoon rest and recreation, and then we have our afternoon satsang with Pujya Swami Ishwarananda here. So all our discourses are happening here in the discourse hall. That is from 3:30 to 4:30, and then we have another 30 minutes Swaranjali slot, followed by second discourse of Pujya Swami Swarupananji. Then we have dinner, followed by our cultural program. So that will be our schedule for the next 4 days, full days, and then we will have a different schedule on August 3rd. So at this time, we will read the Aarti sponsors for today. Please come up. If you have not sponsored and would still like to do Aarti, please come up, and then you can stop by the registration desk. So please come up to either one of the 2 altars. Premal Joshipura, Venkat Palli, Vipul Chitalia, Sejal Shah, Pinal Kanabar, Renuka Prasad Relan, Ashwanti Daya, Ashok Dolakya, Meera Raja, Padmaja Khanna, Jayanti Jayant, Satish Muluk, Rekha Desai, Coimbatore Narsiman, Suma Rajashankar, Sunita Menon, Nehali Dutia, Dishal Shah. And the children, if your parents are part of the Aarti, please join the families. And where is Suchiji? We'll do Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda Aarti.
I don't think it's there.
Arati Shri Chinmaya Sadguru Ki Divya Rupa Murati Karuna Arati Sadguru Ki Charanon mein unke shanti samaye Sharanagat ki pranti mitaye Papadap santap haran ki Arati Shri Chinmaya Sadguru ki Arati Sadguru ki Veda Upanishad Gita ko gaya Dharma Sanatana
See, it is no good now.
Gaya Shuddha Niti Priti Shankar ki Arati Shri Chinmaya Sadguru ki Arati Sadguru ki सिद्धवाणी की तपोभूमि में नित्य विराजे गुरु हमारे भक्त हृदय आनंद स्रोत्र की आरती श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की आरती सद्गुरु की ॐ न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकं नेमा विद्युतो भाति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् ॐ महादेव्यै च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मीः प्रचोदयात् वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात् परब्रह्मणे धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयात्